Ask Tony 700 subscriber special? Really? We made it? Let's go! Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel, Bambinos. Yeah, so, the channel, our channel, we hit 700 subscribers. How? What's going on, guys? What is going on? Thank you so much. Thanks to all 700 plus. Yeah, we've hit the 700. I can't believe it. So, yes, like I said, thank you very, very, very much. So, every time we hit a milestone, I like to do a series called Ask Tony. And I do apologise. We missed 600. I had no idea. So, we did 500. Didn't seem that long ago. And then next time I looked, we passed 700. So I do apologise anyone who was tuning their TVs in to watch the 600 special. I missed it. I do apologise. So I've been asked 8 really good questions. As always, you guys ask the best questions. And yeah, let's just get into it, shall we? So, question number 1 from Retro Red Steve. I've got my pens, you know, it's a serious video. When I got my pen out, I got my questions. So, yes, I take it very seriously. Yeah, Retro Red Steve, he asks, what's a toy you always wanted as a kid but never got? Oh, the good question. I was an 80s kid / 90s. I was born in the early 80s. And it was the Teenage Mutant Hero here in the UK. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. And it was bizarre to think about it. It was a craze. Whatever Christmas that I wanted them. Turtles stayed with me for a couple of years, I gotta be honest. I was one of the ones, I collected the comics as well. They used to come out every fortnight. And my local news agent had stocked them, you know, and he'd always know when he came in, yeah, it's just over there. He'd know straight away. As soon as he saw me, I was the Turtles kid, you know. And it was just before they were massive mainstream as well. So naturally, I wanted the Ninja Turtles figures. I think they were either $4.99 or they might have been a little bit more expensive, like $7.99. So I had all the He-Man. That phase had come and gone. And it was the Turtles. I never actually got one. They were so hard to come by. It was my first experience. It wasn't called scalpers back then, but it was my first experience of people buying them to resell them for more money. And I think Toys R Us were criticised because you could only buy one figure per customer. But of course, a lot of people wanted to buy all 4 of the Turtles for their kids. But they didn't recognise that. They wouldn't say you could buy one Leonardo, one Donatello, etc, etc. It was one per customer. Anyway, we never ever had them. My cousin had one. I think it was Leonardo. No, he had Raphael. And he was probably my favourite turtle. And they were really good build quality. The only Turtles officially licensed Turtles figures I had, yes, he was really cool, was Shredder, but he was like a funny shape. He was like skinny, and he was, I don't know, he wasn't like a normal action figure or toy. And I also had I muddled these up, guys. I had the Bebop or Rocksteady, the one that was like a rhinoceros. I had that, and that was it. But looking back, what I actually had though was oh my god, it was the knockoffs, like the aftermarket Ninja Turtles, and they used to sell them in down the market off the back of a lorry kind of thing. Oh, they were terrible. And I had 4, all the same colour. I think it was like green, bandanas were green. It was bizarre. They were crap. Like, even back then I thought, okay, it's better than nothing kind of thing, but they were so obviously knockoff Turtles, so I had to make do with with them. So yeah, that was a that was a good question. Made me think, yeah, what did I want? But then quite quickly I thought, yeah, the turtles. I never actually got round to getting them, you know. Next question, another one from Retro Red Steve. If you could own a full toy line today, what would it be? Now, I'll break this down into two. So back then, so I probably would have been the Ninja Turtles, but I would loved, looking back, my favourite toy line was Lego. I was a big Lego kid growing up. So I was thinking, like the castles. My first Lego set was this castle, like King Arthur style castle. Oh, I loved it to bits. Then there was the Robin Hood kind of, like tree den kind of things. But then they released the pirate ships. And I had the pirate ship, the big one, with like Captain Hook or whatever. And I remember it was Peter Pan was kind of, Hook, the movie came out, and I loved watching that. But that used to want me to go and play with my Lego. And I also had, there was like the pirates, and then there was the good guys ship, which is a bit smaller. But I think there was 4 ships, and I had 2 of them, which is amazing. Like they were expensive. Lego's always been expensive, but the pirate ship was like my main present that year, and I played it to death. I remember it had like 4 little cannons, and you could actually put they'd fire. You know, you'd put Lego in it, like Lego bricks, and it would fire the Lego bricks. It was the real deal. Okay, that's what I would have wanted, a full range back in the day. But to answer Steve's Retro Red Steve's question, so right, just the Street Fighter fan in me, right, is I would love to have a full Street Fighter G.I. Joe collection, but they'd have to be sealed. Okay, like these aren't toys, these are action figures you can see in the background, my Street Fighter collection. But the figures were crap, let's be honest. They apparently, a lot of them, after watching Here Comes a New Challenger documentary, G.I. Joe basically said they recycled a lot of the action figures that weren't selling, and like they painted them differently, and that's Guile, this is Ryu kind of thing. And they were clearly rip-offs, or like scraps left over. They pieced them together and repackaged them as Street Fighter. But what was really good was the presentation. So when they're sealed in the blister pack with all the artwork on that cardboard, that's what I'd like. And the reason I'd like them is they'd look so cool on the wall. Like I'll show you a bit there. See that bit of wall strip I've got there? I just want to like pin them, bang, bang, bang. I think there was Ryu, there was E Honda, Chun-Li, Ryu, Ken, Vega. I think every single of the OG characters, they had their own action figure, didn't they? But I did have a quick look. I was doing like to get photos, so I'll be showing photos if I remember. They're like 50 quid. You can still buy them now sealed, but like Chun-Li, for example, is 50 quid. I don't want them that much, you know. So, yeah, to answer your question, a full Street Fighter G.I. Joe collection, Steve. Okay, question number 3 from the Angry Moose. What are your top 3 Master System game covers? What a good question. I've really enjoyed answering these questions, guys, so thank you. The funny thing as well with the Master System, if there's to all the non-Master System collectors out there, for example, they're notorious for having really bad covers. So I just grabbed Fantasy Zone there. Look how bad that is for a cover. So again, this was out at a time. This is the mid 80s, I want to say. So you'd either read a magazine about the games, or that might be the first time you ever saw, for example, Fantasy Zone. That's not very inspiring, is it? So then you'd have to look at the back. So you've got 2 pictures at the back, or the cover. Or the cover, you know. So that's just an average. There are much worse covers out there, okay? But there was some really good ones. So I'll do them in order. My third favourite, I kind of throwing in 2. So you got Mortal Kombat. So again, if you're comparing, so most 90%, let's say, or probably 95% of the games with this format, with the square grid and the interesting artwork. But Mortal Kombat had their own. They didn't have any of that grid on there. So it looks cool on the shelf with the spine as well. So I've thrown in, I like that one. I really do like that one. But Mortal Kombat 2 is even better, I think. What do you think, guys? Which is better? So yes, that's honourable mention. That's my official number 3. Okay. Coming in at number 2 is Ninja Gaiden. Now, with Mortal Kombat and Ninja Gaiden, there's no nostalgia. I didn't grow up with these games. These are quite recent games that I've always wanted since the 80s. But only within the last 12 months, actually, I had them in my collection. But I really like that. There's a lot going on in that picture. That'd make a really cool poster. You got the dragon. That would have really impressed me back in the day. And on the back, you got 4 pictures. So a lot of them did have 4 pictures on the back, okay? So yes, that's my number 2, Ninja Gaiden. But this one, nostalgia, and I think it's great artwork, is Ghouls and Ghosts. That is my favourite Master System game of all time. It has got the 4 pictures on the back. You can tell this is one of the games I still got from back in the day. I'm never getting rid of this. But what's interesting, so it tells quite a lot if you've played the game. But you start off with the silver armour, but the best armour you can get, I think it went from silver to green to red to gold, I think. So gold was the best armour. So it shows, wow, look, I can level up to this. But then it makes you think that's the final boss. That's the main bad guy. He's actually the first boss in the game. He's not actually that hard if you know what you're doing. Yeah, that's my number 1 favourite Master System artwork. So they were really hit or miss. They're either terrible or really good, in my opinion. Right, what's the next question? The Angry Moose. Question number 4. What are your top 3 side-scroll platform beat-em-ups? That's a genre I don't really play much anymore. Okay, so side-scroll platform. So I would have thought like Streets of Rage, but that's not actually a platform game. And it's a genre I'm trying to get back into. Okay, so I'm hoping these count. Okay, so I got 3 honourable mentions. Okay. So, Ganryu, or Ganryu 2, this is the sequel. I think this was originally Ganryu, came out on the Neo Geo. Really good, really hard, old school hard. A lot of the side-scroll platform beat-em-ups are tough games, you know. But I had a ton of fun playing that. Shantae, I got the special edition. This might be a game I might be trading in pretty soon, you know. So I'm going to have... the best thing about this game is the soundtrack, I gotta be honest. It is jamming. Really good soundtrack. But yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something about it that maybe I gotta be in the mood to play these games, you know. Another honourable mention, Okinawa Rush. That's a great game as well. That's probably the best out of the honourable mentions, okay. It's got the old school graphics. But then, right, so in order then, I've got... Well, it's not actually, it's Metal Slug 3, and I've got all the Metal Slug games digital on my PS5, so that's a very good in-between game. But that's visually, it's great. It's a nice universe that they've created, very arcadey. So that's my 3rd favourite. I don't know if this counts, but I remember having a ton of fun. Bloodstained: A Ritual of the Night. I know it's a Metroidvania, or more of a Castlevania style game. But again, my favourite side-scroll platform beat-em-up has to be Ghouls and Ghosts. I can't fault this game. I really can't fault it. Music, everything about it is fan-effing-tastic. I don't think I've sworn yet, have I? I'm doing good. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. Okay, next question. Okay, so the Angry Moose. What's Rossi's favourite game and console? I know his least favourite has to be the Sega Master System, because he chewed the controller cable, in about 50 different pieces one day. We hadn't been living here long, so that's probably about 2 years ago he did it. So that shows me this is his least favourite. His probably his favourite game. Now, we've got a bit of dogs like routine, don't they? So, like, I'm not in work at the moment. I'm off, kind of between jobs. I won't go into it. Might be going back. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So, on a normal, like my evening, we get home from work, take him for a walk or run. Then he's had his food. Then he'll kind of sleep for most of the evening. I'll come up into the games room, but he won't come up. But then when it's kind of bedtime, he knows around about 9:30 to 10 o'clock, he'll come up and he'll want to jump on my lap. But if I got a fight stick, he obviously can't. But I remember when I was playing Fallout 4, he used to love, he wouldn't just come up and sit on my lap and sleep. He'd be watching the screen, like looking, like, wow, what's that? And like his ears would go up. When I was fighting those massive crab things, he was looking like, what's that horrible looking thing, kind of thing. But the thing is, when I was playing that, I was kind of like now between jobs. So he knew I wasn't very well mentally. So he's very protective over me. He's like, instead of sleeping, like he sleeps in my bed with me, but he's sleeping right there now. He's like worried about me. I think dogs are clever things, aren't they? They just know when their owners aren't doing very well, you know. I am doing okay though, guys. I'm trying to be as positive as I can. So I'd say Fallout 4 on the PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5. But also, a bonus answer then. Max, my mum's dog, he loves, I think it's Borderlands 3. I've never seen him like it. There's two things. He loves Darth Vader. Whenever I've got Darth Vader on my telly, he's like, who's that guy? He does not like the look of Darth Vader at all. And when Borderlands 3 is loading, I think it's Borderlands 3, when Claptrap's like, he's going across the screen like that, and he's like dancing kind of thing. It's like like a loading screen. He's like watching him. And he settles down. When he comes back, he's watching him. It's funny how dogs react. I don't know what he's thinking's going on. Okay, next question. The Angry Moose. Alright, have you ever been recognised on your travels for being a famous YouTuber? yeah. There's a riot everywhere I go. No, nobody's ever recognised me. I don't know where most of my 700 followers, I don't know where you guys are from. I get the impression quite a few UK based people and the United States. I get quite a few people commenting on my shorts. I really enjoy doing my shorts. A lot of them are either Rossi or Mortal Kombat, because they're nice, quick, gory. I like all that stuff, right? And a lot of it's in foreign language, I think Spanish or something. I don't know. So to answer your question, no. But there was a time in the late 90s, early 2000s where like someone has actually come up to me. It's bonkers to think about it. From my swimming days, okay? I was alright swimmer. I was international standard for my country. I ranked in the top 3 in the UK for my events, the 100 metres butterfly, for my age group. Yeah, so I was a senior international. That's the level I got to. And then injuries strike, and then again politics and all that nonsense, right? But I was in a nightclub in Swansea, and two girls came over, and one blonde, one brunette, and I was just minding my own business. They were like looking at me, and I'm not used to female interaction, let's say, and they were coming closer, and they were looking at me, and I was like, well, I've got something on my face, you know, looking, what's the problem? I go negative straight away. And the blonde girl came over and she said, "You're Anthony Evans, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, like, again, thinking, who's this kind of thing now, thinking something bad's going to happen. She goes, "Can I have your autograph?" So from my swimming, right, I'd never seen her before. I think I actually once, I'll tell you another funny story. Once I remember seeing her, right, but I was in a swimming competition, and there's a lot of hanging around with swimming. You're like, your race will last just under a minute, but you'll be there all day. So you've got to swim in the morning to qualify for the final. Then it's hours waiting. It's a lot of hanging around. It's not all fun. It's not just swimming. There's a lot of hanging around. So I was talking to one of the boys from another swimming club, one of my competitors, I guess you could say. And he said, God, that girl over there is just looking at you and copying everything you're doing. So say I was scratching my head like that, she'd be scratching her head. And I looked, which girl? And yeah, it definitely was the same girl. So that blonde girl. So I was like, put my finger like this, and she would do the same. So I stood up and she stood up. I thought, this is a weird interaction. I was only 16, 17, I think. And I thought, okay. So I sat down, stand up, and yeah, that was a weird one. And then fast forward a couple of years, and then it was the same girl came over, and she said, "Oh, can I have your autograph?" And it's like in a nightclub, I haven't got a pen or anything like that. And I said, "Sorry, how would you know me?" She said, "Oh, you're a swimmer, aren't you?" And I said, "Oh, kinda." I was kind of on my way out of it then, and then I actually ended up dating it. This is the girl I ended up going to France with when I worked in Euro Disney. So it was funny that she came over all like, I get, for lack of a better word, starstruck by me as a swimmer. But she only ever used to see the Welsh level, where I didn't consider myself as a good swimmer because I was trying to beat, I wanted to be number one in the UK, but I was number one in Wales, easily number one. I dealt with that. But then, of course, you see these people, I'll do another video talking about my swimming basically, but yeah, I didn't think I was that good. Looking back, I did okay, I suppose. I had some funny stories, but yeah, so someone has actually asked me for my autograph, but it was nothing to do with YouTube, you know. Next question, Pazman90. Oh, this is a good question. What's your top 5 story modes in any fighting game? Now, fighting games aren't really known for this story mode, are they? Like Melty Blood, for example, is one of my favourite fighting games of all time. It's got a good single player mode as well, but I have no idea what's going on in the story. The thing with Melty Blood, it came over in the UK arcade only, and it came out on the PS2, but it never got released over here. So a lot of the story mode on the law, I haven't got a clue. You got to play these other games to know what's going on. I'd love them to release either a DLC or just a digital version of the PlayStation 2 game from back in the day. I have got a magazine that's got a 1 or half a page write-up about Melty Blood, and I was like, oh my god, there's Melty Blood. Scored really well, but it basically says these games need to come over into the UK. So yeah, we never got that version over here. So I've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I was gonna do one per franchise, right? But sod it, I'll go through it, but it's not fair to exclude. So basically, number 5 is Mortal Kombat X or Mortal Kombat XL. These people, whoever is at Warner Brothers, NetherRealm, whoever's writing these stories is doing an amazing job. Give them a pay rise. There's so many characters. I know that all the lore. I grew up with Mortal Kombat, okay? But I like the gameplay, but I much prefer the story mode. What I'm most looking forward to in MK1, for example, is the story mode. I don't know who my main is. It used to be Goro, but he's not in most of these games. He's in this one, thank God. He's not in 11, is he? But yeah, number 5 is, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to talk about the story mode as well, because I don't want to do any spoilers, but go check these games out yourself. So number 5 is Mortal Kombat XL, okay? Number 4 is Primal Rage. Quite a simple story. It's set in the future. I won't say too much. And there's these gods. That's all I'll tell you, okay? I've got... The comics are so expensive. I got one comic. I read it cover to cover, and it's actually framed in the games room wall just behind the camera, okay? Yeah, so number 4 is Primal Rage. That's... Gameplay's probably better than the story as well on that. That's a great game if you see that out there. Injustice 2. That's coming in at number 3. Very good. Again, it's NetherRealms, Warner Brothers, whoever's writing these stories. The story of this version came with, what's it called? Justice League, is it? And then I couldn't watch. I tried watching it, but then the Snyder Cut is actually half decent. Or it's a lot of people's favourite movie of all time, isn't it? But that's better story than Justice League, in my opinion. Number 2 has to be Street Fighter 2. Again, you can argue there isn't really a story mode, but then again, there is. So it's a tournament. It's very basic. But this is when I fell in love with the franchise and been in love with it ever since. Each character has got their own reason for entering the Street Fighter tournament. Like Chun-Li, for example, she wants revenge on Bison for murdering her father and stuff like that. Very, very good. Some have got a bit more selfish reasons. But yeah, so there is a story mode in that game, okay? And number 1 has to be, by far the best story ever, SNK Heroines. No, it's not. If you've never played that, it's basically... it's a girl, all the characters apart from one is a female, but Terry Bogard's turned into a female fighter. It's insane, it is. But yeah, it's not that. It is Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Bambino. Check out this. I was after a steelbook as well, by the way. Oh yeah, baby. So this is the 30th anniversary collector's edition, obviously. The proud owner of this. I might stream this. I might do a stream with, just do the story mode again, because it's that good. It's fantastic. Again, it's better than the movies. It's out there, time travel aspect, very clever, very funny. A couple of twists. You hate the bad guys in it. Brilliant, absolutely. The perfect story for Mortal Kombat, that is, okay? So I'm very excited, like I said, to see what MK1 does with it. And I nearly missed this question. This question just got in. I'd written it all down, and I was coming upstairs to film it, and Hum Along If You Can't Sing Along, shout out Hum Along If You Can't Sing Along, he asked, was there any fighting game where you felt the hype was completely overblown? One that just really disappointed on first play? Easy question to answer. It's not in my collection anymore. It's Guilty Gear Strive. I was so hyped for that game, and they kept showing, Arc System Works, they kept showing screenshots of the story mode, and I thought, this looks amazing. And it was like, it looked like, visually it's fantastic, gameplay is fantastic, right? And I remember on my Instagram, this is when before I had a YouTube channel, all my focus was my Instagram. A funny point is, I had more followers at the time than Arc System Works. So my Instagram had more, and I was counting down like 17 days to go, and I was doing screenshots and cutting and pasting, doing my own little posts and stuff, editing. Then they delayed it. I was like, oh, really? Then it came out, I think it was February or March, and Amazon, there was a problem, they couldn't get hold of the game or something, so I was about 2 days late, but I pre-ordered it, and it was so frustrating, because I could have gone to Game on the weekend and just picked it up, but because I had my pre-order, but it was only 2 days or so late, and Amazon did sort me out, there was a bit of a refund, partial refund or something, okay? So I played a couple of the rounds, and then one day I thought, right, I'm going to do the story mode. It's just either I think it's like a 2-hour anime. There's no gameplay. I thought, I'll watch this cutscene now. 5 minutes. So that's a big production cutscene. 10 minutes goes by. 15 minutes. It's just one long anime. Do you know what I mean? Great, but where's the gameplay? They're advertising a single player story mode or story mode or whatever. No, it's just a story. There's no gameplay in it. I was so disappointed. I stayed with it. Visually, it was one of the best games I've ever seen. I really do enjoy the Guilty Gear franchise, but Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2, the game that came out before it, is far superior to Guilty Gear Strive. I might go back to it if they add a story mode or an arcade mode or something like that. But I was so hyped for this game, and yeah, I was so gutted, you know. My main in that is Soul Bad Guy, in case anyone's wondering. There we go, guys. That is my, how many we got? 700 subscriber special Ask Tony, or we'll call it something like that. Okay, it'll be in the thumbnail, no doubt. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone that's obviously subscribed. Anyone that's stumbled across this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do gameplay, talk. Oh, I nearly swore. I talk that. Yeah, I'm a gamer and dog dad. That's probably the best way to describe me. So consider subscribing if you're new around here, so you don't miss any of my new videos. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for sending those questions in, guys. They're always, you guys ask the best questions. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.